All right, everyone. So this is the Overdrive Neo. I've been playing on this for the past, I think, almost 2 months now. It's been a little while, and it has a couple of cool features. This is not a sponsored video, but they did send this to me for free to review, to do this video which I'm doing with you right now. So that's what this is. Now, I have had enough time to play almost anything on this. It has a Brooks PCB inside it. The Brooks PCB 5, PS5 or whatever PCB it has is the one that works on everything. So it'll work on PS5, it'll work on your old school Nintendo Switch, it'll work on anything. Also, it lights up. You can turn the little switch here, and it'll turn different colors, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It looks cool in the arcades. Let's unplug it now. And you'll see this is a direct competitor with the hitbox, which I have right here. This is the hitbox, official hitbox. You'll notice OG hitbox is a little bit smaller vertically, but it is longer horizontally. So, what does that mean? Well, for those of you who are used to playing on hitbox, on the OG hitbox, now see how my palm is hitting right at the edge here if I rest it? So you're forced to kind of raise your hands and to keep them lifted. It's a bit of a pain in the booty. Just a little bit of a pain. But this doesn't have that stupid feature because it goes up high enough. So ergonomically, it's really, really comfortable because you can rest your palm here and it's not going to mess your hands up like the hitbox original will. It also comes with a plexiglass cover, which you can put artwork under if you wish. I think it looks great without any artwork. It's nice and sleek. Comes in 3 colors, white and purple. So you can pick your color if you want. I like the black one. I had the white one initially. It was okay, but this is the sleekish, in my opinion. Which I think it says Overdrive here. It's in some font. It's really hard for me to read, and it comes like a nice little box. Comes with a little dust cover. So it's not a carrying case, but it's more a dust cover. And which, if you keep your hitbox around long enough, it'll collect dust, even if you use it all the time. So it's ideal to put it in the case so it doesn't get dust on it over time when you're not playing it actively. The other thing to note are these buttons. So this has really cool buttons. They are unique and proprietary. Their own buttons. I would not get into the specifics of how these buttons are made because it is far too complicated for me. But just know that they have their own method that they use. It's fancy. And these buttons are made out of a very, very light material. Again, I will not tell you what material it is because it's over my head. I don't quite understand it, but they're very light. And inside these buttons are MX Cherry Speed Silver buttons, the fastest buttons on the market right now in the MX Cherry suite. There are new buttons that are not micro switch based, but are like linear analog style buttons that like Woot have just come out with. No joystick uses those yet. Maybe in the future that will happen, but that's currently not what's happening here. And these have very fast response time. And something I noticed with this is because these buttons, their caps, the keycaps are so light. And because they're so light, they reset to neutral faster than any other button I've ever used. And I've been using gamer fingers on this for like years, or maybe not years, but like long enough, at least a year on this. And they're godlike. I love them. But they do not reset to neutral as quickly as these do. And I attribute that to how light the button caps are. The caps like weigh nothing. So the force of the Speed Silver spring just brings it right back to neutral. Why is that important? Because if you're on a hitbox, you want to get the maximum benefit of using a button, right? Now, if you can't get to neutral quickly, that means you can't press the next input quickly. So you can get dashes faster. You can do different kind of random things, inputs quicker. It makes a big difference. You can move around faster. It's just great. So I highly recommend ordering it with these buttons. Now, there is a con. And the big con is this is very expensive when it's not on sale. On sale, it's like around $280, around that range, which is about competing with this hitbox OG. It's a little more expensive than that. And it's around the same price as the Razer Kitsune, which is pretty expensive, I think, too. So there are like things like the Hot, $70, much cheaper. Not as good as this, in my opinion, if you are seriously about competing. I would not trust a Hot 42 or a Hot whatever as my main stick. It's a good backup, not a good main stick. This is sturdy as all get out. The only issue it has, other than the price, or I guess because of the price, this sticks out more, is this port. This is your USB-C port. And as you see, it's just a little tiny hole. There's nothing to protect the connector. And on the outside, that's a problem, because in an event, sometimes your stick might fall. It might fall at a weird angle. It might get ripped out. Someone might walk by you and like knock your stick over. Maybe you put it down for a second and like the thing got twisted because someone ran past you and the cord got yanked and sheared to the side. Suddenly your port doesn't work anymore because like the pins have been screwed up. That's a real problem. I'm not going to say it's a deal breaker, but for the price that this item retails for, I would like a more robust solution to this very, very weak point, because the hitbox trademark version has a really nice port here for your USB. Now, it's a proprietary kind of device, so you can't like just plug anything into it, which is a pain. So I don't recommend this. You don't need like a locking and like twist like this has. It's very comfortable to know that you have something that's so solid, but you can't alter the cable at all, which I don't like either. So there are other things. I have a friend of mine who I showed this to. He is my joystick fixing person. I go to him whenever I need anything to be done with my joysticks. I showed this to him. He looked at the inside, said the insides are gorgeous, they're beautiful, it's so easy to mod. There's even a dampener inside this thing to kind of make the box less loud. So the construction is just phenomenal. The problem here is they can buy like a certain kind of bracket that'll go around this to give it more oomph on the inside. They might have to redesign this area to create the space for the bracket to go around your USB-C like cable. That way, if it gets sheared to the side, it won't just pull all the pieces inside it or wreck your pins, because that's what could happen as it exists now. And I think that's a serious problem. But not serious enough for me not to recommend it. But at the price point, it's something to consider, because there are other sticks of this quality, like the new Quanba is coming out, leverless style. It's going to be amazing from what I see. And it has much better kind of port control. Don't know how much it's going to cost yet, but it seems like a lot of these sticks are charging around, $300, sub $300. This is over $300, which is a bit pricey. I think that might be too high, personally, of a price for a leverless stick. But this is really good. It's very light. But I don't know if it's like $380 light, or $350 light. It's a little expensive on that point. So, and for that price, again, like this really needs to be handled better if you're going to charge that much, because it's so frail. The last thing I'll say about it is the SOCD settings. It has multiple settings. Again, this is more about the Brooks than about this stick itself, but it has multiple settings for the SOCD. You can do last input preferred. You can do Capcom Cup official rules, or you can do the old school hitbox setting where holding down and up defaults to up, and up and up, forward and back gives you neutral. I prefer last input preferred. I think that's the best way to play. It's the most efficient way to play, and the most like playing a regular joystick. You'll find it most simple, I think, for you to make that adjustment. So I tell you use that setting. You can look into the bells and whistles and figure that part out. It also has a R3, and this right here, it has 10 buttons. Those are really helpful. For games like Street Fighter, it gives you an extra button for drive impacts, or for parry if you want to use those. Makes it a little easier for you to get access to that quickly. And if you're playing Tekken, it gives you more buttons to bind, because you need binds in Tekken, because it's so hard to press 2 buttons at the same time at once, on command. But overall, currently, right now, as it exists, this to me is the prime leverless to use, and it's what I'm going to be using going forward, unless I get the Quampa and someone sends that to me and they say, hey, do a review of this, and maybe we'll send you one to do that over whenever that comes out. That'd be nice. But in the meantime, I'll be using this, and because it's that good, it's super comfortable, and it's just consistent. It just works. I think if you're a tournament player and you're serious about using a leverless, this is what you get. Right now, this is what you get. Even these side buttons here, these are for your start, select, and like home. These are on the side, which means it's going to be pretty hard to hit those by accident, because they're not like on the top. They're on the side. And these buttons have some like heft to them. So you can't just press them like with a light touch, like on a hitbox. These buttons here are regular. So they depress like any other button you have. These do not depress as easily. You need to really put some force in here. So even if you slide up on it, it's not gonna press. It's not gonna activate. So, you can't lock them out but you can't do that on the hitbox anyway. But it's hard to hit these, so that'd be helpful. So the real only error or problem could be if your joystick comes out, like the board comes out. What brand is this? This is the Overdrive Neo. This will be a video on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, I live stream these at twitch.tv/tricky_VFDC. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, I also stream there. So I do tech reviews. I talk about tech. If I do any adjustments to my devices, I like to do those live on stream as well. So yeah, you can see me using this on stream. Depending on the angle I'm using, I don't always play far enough away for you to be able to see me playing on this, but you'll see some hand cams once in a while here and there. Yeah, this is my recommendation. I think you should get this. If you're looking at this recently, like right now, this is on pre-order. It's not out yet. Want to hear the buttons? Yeah, here. You hear them right now. Check it out. I almost dropped it. This is me pressing lightly. This is me slapping them. Now, for comparison, here is a hitbox with the gamer finger buttons. Gamer finger buttons are substantially quieter, more of a thud. This is me slapping them as hard as I can. More of a thud sound. These are more like a slap. Higher pitched. So these are louder, in my opinion, than the gamer finger buttons. But the weight, yeah, it's between a class. Exactly. Now here's a plain old Salma button. sound buttons right here. Gamer fingers. Pulse. Okay, there's your comparison to the button sounds. That actually is important. These buttons on the side make no sound. That's how quiet those are. So, in terms of button sound, I actually prefer the thuds. I don't like making sounds with my joystick buttons because people who play next to you will hear them, and it'll make it easier for them to know what you're doing. But, you know, whatever, it's fine. The Quamba Sapphire looks very promising. Yes, the Quamba Sapphire does look very promising. I think the Overdrive Neo folks need to be watching what the Quamba folks do and potentially either adjust their pricing based off of that or just make a new version. Because I know this is the second version of this they've made. They've gone through iterations of this device and they're continually upgrading and making it more of a better using device. That is not a very good sentence, but you understand what I'm trying to say. This company is trying to make the best leverless they can. And they're pretty cool people. They seem like really nice folks. They really want to do well by the community. They seem to care about the community and they care about making really good products and they stand by them. So, you know, if you have a problem, reach out. They'll probably give you a good answer or help you work through it. But I think they're a good company. I want them to do well. I think they deserve it. They've made a good product. It's a bit pricey, but if you can afford it and you're in the market for one and you're, again, you know you're a leverless player. Like you committed yourself to it. Get this. Don't get those flat boxes. The flat boxes are trash because they're going to hurt your hands after a while. You're going to be playing them and like it's also too low profile. It doesn't sit well in your lap. It's just not. I don't like flat boxes. I want something with a little bit of clearance, like this. Even here, here's how tall it is. They're about the same height, actually, so maybe, yeah, this is like a hair higher. It has felt in the bottom as well. Shouldn't mention that. But yeah, I think it's a fairly common, normal, to be honest. So then, yeah, the price is probably normal then for most people. I haven't bought a new joystick in forever. So, and I mean, I've been looking at the HOTS. The Kitsune's there. Kitsune's is pretty expensive. I don't recommend a Kitsune. I just couldn't. The HOT's a great entry stick. This is a pro stick. This is a pro leverless. You know what you're doing when you get this. You better. And it's also super comfortable. And so light. It's so much lighter than the hitbox. Like I can put it in my purse and it's like my little tote bag. It's like nothing. Nothing's in there at all. It's awesome. So I don't even worry about bringing it to the arcade because it's just that light. This thing is freaking so heavy. It's so heavy. Now, some folks like a heavy, like arcade stick. I'm not one of those people. I don't like heavy things. I like light things. And because it's so wide, it doesn't matter that it's light because it's still sturdy because the base is pretty, big. Those small HOTS and the other things that are like that size, they're so tiny, they kind of slide around and it just doesn't feel very comfortable in my hands. But this is way better in my lap specifically. I think if you like to play on tabletop and you want to have your tabletop where your arcade stick is, then a flat box is probably useful, but you're not going to get as much shock absorption from the flat box as you would from one of these when you press a button, which you'll be doing a lot of. That's my full review of the Overdrive Neo. It took me a while to make this, but I'm glad to have it now, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, everyone, bye, and check out the link below for a link straight to this device and the company. They've made a great thing. I cannot recommend this enough. And I do not recommend products I don't like. The snack box, I played on the snack box as well. I do not like the snack box. Let me tell you why. The buttons are trash on that thing. It has convex buttons, meaning they go inside. And there's a little bit of a kind of grip to them, like the snack box. These also have some grip to them. They have some kind of tactile feeling to the button tops. They're not smooth like the other ones. They actually have tactile feeling. So you can feel the button in a way. It kind of grips your fingers. Kind of nice. And I wasn't sure how it was going to like wear over time. I'm seeing a little bit of wear over time now that I've been using it for like over a month and a lot. But it feels good. I don't like, it doesn't look bad. It looks fine. Like it looks just fine. So I'm not worried about it, how it's gonna like wear over time. But yeah, it's concave. I hate concave buttons because it hurts your fingers. If you have to do like taps on the side, like you're flipping your finger off of it, which some games require if you need to do like frame perfect one button inputs. And on a snack box, that hurts. It like hurts your finger. So I don't like snack boxes for that one reason. And they're small. Oh, one last thing. The layout. The layout here is slightly altered. So look, the left side and the right side are a little bit farther apart on the new hitbox, on the Overdrive Neo, as you can see. And they are also farther up on the device, meaning you have space for your palm, part of why you have it there. Aside from just the fact that you have a thicker vertical kind of clearance level. The final thing, I think I mentioned it, but the left hand and right hand, there's a bigger gap. So you're not crunching your fingers together. Like your left hand and right hand don't have to be right on top of each other. You can actually space them out a little bit, which is good because you want to have more ergonomic spacing, which means you're not sitting here like this, but like this. It's better. It's more ergonomic. And I use a leverless for ergonomic reasons. It's not because it's the best objective way to play the game. I mean, it's that too, but that's not why I did it. That was just a reason for me not to not use it. When I found out that I had, hand problems. It's even more ergonomic and more comfortable. So I wish you good luck in your leverless journeys, and I hope to bring you more leverless reviews in the future. I might be reviewing a wireless device, leverless controller in the future, potentially, next. We shall see. But I wanted to finish this one first before I had another one, because I need time to do these right, to do them right, the way I like to have them done. All right, now, bye for real, YouTube viewers. And tell me, have you used this before? What do you think? Is the price too much? Is it right, you think, for like what you're getting? And like the Hitbox OG, if you add like the $70 you'd need or $60 you'd need to spend on the PS5 converter, along with labor, which would probably be another like $15, $20 if you don't do it yourself, it ends up being about the same price. So the price isn't actually that big of a deal.